So let's dive into it. Who's in and who's out on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN? All right, and AFC East, Patriots across the board.
Yes, sir.
I would like to raise a dissenting point. No, I won't. Patriots.
What was that point going to
It was just
jokingly be?
I wasn't even going to go that far.
That was the joke. That was
the
as
joke.
far as he thought.
That really was the joke.
I was wondering,
Those Jets are really coming on now.
I thought maybe it was going to be the Dolphins impressed me enough last night to think they could turn their season around. They were up 14-0. Now, at 14-0 last night, how many people jumped on their apps and tried to make a bet?
A ton.
When they were up 14-0.
I'm sure a lot. But if anything, if you were smart, you would have been placing that bet on the Steelers.
Exactly. Getting points at that point.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was at one point last night where the Steelers were getting points.
Yeah. That was the one.
That would have been the one.
Right. They were getting a half a point last night at one point I saw on DraftKings.
That sounds like a Mike Gill special right there.
Thank you, Dolphins. I had enough money with the Dolphins last night. I didn't need a lot more assistance. They were very profitable.
Yep.
All right, in the North. Now, this is interesting because Cleveland, we know their schedule's kind of weak coming up. Pittsburgh's now 3-4. If they win next week, they would be 4-4, get themselves back to 500, and Baltimore plays New England coming up. So, who do you like in the North there, Geoff Mosher?
I like the Ravens. I had them last week, so I kept with it. Obviously, the Browns. I said I had the Browns the whole time, and I prematurely said, even before this Patriots matchup, I'm taking them out because I just don't believe that they will beat the Patriots, and they didn't. So I had Ravens last week, and I continue to go with the Ravens.
Yeah, I also had the Ravens last week, and I'm going to continue down that path. Pittsburgh, they struggled last night against what is deemed the worst team in the league by many. So nice win by Mason Rudolph, but I don't think they're going to be able to sustain much success moving forward. Yeah, listen, good couple wins for them. They're a great organization. I think they're going to fight to have a decent and respectable year, but not enough to take down the Ravens.
By the way, if I'm a TV producer, instead of that game last night, I would have the camera on Brian Flores all night long. He was epic. That was worth my time.
I agree.
I watched the Sixers game. I flipped over to the Dolphins game, and right when I flipped it on was when they were doing that whole challenge on fourth down that took 25 minutes. But Flores, after that, was just epic the rest of the night. And they had him on TV. They put him on TV at Dunn last night, flipping out on the refs. It was good.
I think he's going to actually work out for them once they get some talent there. I think he's going to command a lot of respect.
My prediction is that team is going to be really good. I think they're going to get it. I think they're going to hit on this. I do. I
agree with you.
Yeah.
God, they can't be any worse than any other AFC East team over the last 20 years not named the Patriots.
I just think that they have accumulated, much like the Sixers, where, yes, the Sixers missed on a lot of picks, but they had so many, and they got two guys that turned it all around. The Dolphins have so many picks. If they hit like 5 of those picks, you put 5 different players on a football team, that's a huge impact. And I think this is going to work out for them. I think they're going to end up getting through there's going to be a bright light at the end of the tunnel for them. All right, let's go to the South where you got really an interesting race here. Everybody's at least 500. Tennessee 4-4, Jacksonville 4-4, Houston 5-3, and the Colts 5-2. I feel like the Colts have had bad losses, but good wins. They're a very odd team to figure out. I'm going Colts though in the South.
Yeah, I'm going Colts as well, MG. I think the Texans are even more difficult to figure out.
Those two teams are both good teams, but lose to bad teams.
Yeah, so for me, it's the Colts. I just feel like it's a special year for them with Frank Reich and everything that happened with Andrew Luck. So I think they're going to end up taking this division. I'm sticking with them.
All right, so I've had the Texans all year long, and I've liked the Colts, but when your quarterback and still scramble out of a pocket and throw a touchdown the way Deshaun Watson is, you stick with that team. So I will stick with the Texans winning the AFC South.
All right, let's go to the
That was an amazing. That was one of that and the Aaron Rodgers touchdown were amazing. I mean, just amazing.
Yeah. Watson was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like I hate to go against that kid. I mean, he's so good. He's the best quarterback in that division.
Yeah.
Tannehill has really played well, by the way.
He has.
They would have listened to me earlier in the year. They might be over 5-5 and
They're not really winning these games. Well, they
won both games.
They kind of got help by the refs in that Tampa game.
They did. Yeah. The refs did screw.
They could have easily lost.
But he is 2-0.
Yeah.
So they should have played him at this start. AFC West, you got 5-3, 3-4, 3-5, 2-6. Chiefs with that loss on the other night, but Mahomes says he wants to play this week. I don't think the Chiefs, though, are being very pressured in the West.
Yeah.
They're my pick. I'm sure they're yours as well.
They are my pick. I mean, we can watch the Raiders. The Raiders have played better overall than I thought going into this year.
Is that another team that the light at the end of the tunnel is going to be bright for them?
Not with John Gruden coaching them. I don't know.
I like what they've done this year. I think there's been a lot of haters on the Raiders, and especially with everything with AB. I give them credit. I know they're not wowing anyone, but 3-4, I feel like the past couple
Well, they
games.
have a lot of picks is what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
look
they
at
do.
the team they have now. They've made some trades that have all kind of brought back high picks for them. They got the Mac trade.
Right, but
they gave away picks for AB.
Uh,
Blew up in their face.
I loved how he sounded like Al David. They got a lot of haters on the Raiders.
They do. I mean,
No, you're right. I'm one of them.
You're either a fan or a hater,
Yeah.
for that team. And I know they have picks in the future, but give them credit for what they're fighting this
And
year.
what they get back? No, they didn't get anything back for Brown. They cut him.
For Anthony,
Yeah.
just got
For
him.
Brown, they got nothing from the Patriots.
Nada.
Nada.
All right, let's go to this is interesting because the AFC is just a jumbled mess of losing teams. I mean, got a couple 500s, a couple game under 500s. Who do you like as the wild cards?
Well, I have the Colts as one of them because I still have the Texans winning the South, so I feel pretty confident about that. You're right about the second wild card. I kept the Bills even after the loss. I mean, the elements and everything, I think that they can recover, but I really don't love them as a playoff team. I tell you, the team now I've got my eye on now a little bit is the Steelers because they're kind of working their way up.
Here we go.
They're a team that I think you got to watch out for.
Yeah, I have the Texans because I have the Colts winning the South, and then I also have the Bills, but very reluctantly, guys, with the Bills. You just can't be confident about them. But you look at the rest of the AFC, and I think Steelers are the one team that has a chance to make a run, but I'm not confident in them either. So you got to go with the 5-2 Bills for now.
Last couple of weeks, I just don't feel that Bills offense is going to be, especially as the year goes on and the weather gets worse. I mean, and coming up for them, I mean, they've got the Red Bulls stretch, and they got the Jets too, but they got the Patriots, they got the Ravens, they got the Cowboys. I just don't know if they're ready to get. I think that's about a 500 team in the end. I'm going Jacksonville. 4-4.
Minshew is going to take him to the promised land?
Now Foles coming
4-4, and they got Foles coming back. Perfect spot for Foles. They don't really need their season saved. They just need someone to kind of push the rock down the hill, and it's just a perfect setting for him to step in playoffs here.
Right. This moment,
This
you're
is
absolutely
it.
right.
This is, I just thought about it. Foles could be. When's he scheduled to come back?
It
He's
could
back at
possibly
practice, right?
be next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. I thought he was going to be like next week. Now, if they don't play him when they get back, I mean, Minshew played well last week.
Played very
He had
well.
not been playing well. And then he kind of like had a big moment again last week where it was like, but all right, Jeremy Fowler is reporting that they're targeting week 11 for Nick Foles.
Oh, okay.
So still a couple of more weeks, but I think they can stay right around 500. And in the AFC, that's going to be fine. So I'm going Jacksonville with the midseason pick.
Foles isn't a guarantee to be the starter when he returns. There's a lot of talk about Marrone has a tough decision ahead.
I think that the Minshew would have to win at least 2 of the next 3 then to make that happen.
Yeah. There's a chance.
We'll
No,
see.
I know. I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's a given that he comes back, but
Yeah.
the story just sounds too good for me not to at least throw it out there.
Yeah, by the way, Schefter just said on ESPN that NFL teams in contact with the Jets think that the Jets aren't going to make any deals, which contradicts the report we had of somebody saying they would be stunned if the Jets didn't move Jamal Adams. So that's a trade deadline for you.
Yep. All right, let's go to the NFC and find out who's in and who's out on the NFC side. You've got the NFC East. You've got Dallas and Philly. Kind of a 2-team race over there. Giants 2-6. Washington 1-7. Who do you like in the East there?
Cowboys.
I said I would knock the Eagles out of if they lost. They didn't, so they're still there. I still have the Eagles right now.
Okay. I'm sticking with Dallas for another week here. I'm not like married to it, but
No.
right now,
I think
the
we're
fact
all
that they-
feel like I'm feeling that way about the Eagles. I'm not
Sure.
loving it, and that's
Yeah.
how you guys feel about Dallas.
Yeah.
The fact that Dallas didn't play this week is, I think, going against the Eagles right now.
Yeah,
because-
Dallas being 4-3. If they were both
Right.
4-4 right now, and Dallas had beat the Eagles, you'd say, all right, they beat them at home. They're supposed to.
Yeah.
You play again later on, the games in Philly, see what happens.
Exactly.
So
Dallas has a very difficult schedule there in the second half, though.
Dallas coming up. since you mentioned it.
Still have to play the Patriots.
They've got the Giants this week. They've got the Vikings next week.
Yeah,
They've
Vikings.
got at Lions, at Patriots, Bills, at Bears, Rams, at Eagles, Redskins.
Oh, that Rams game, week 17.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, week 16.
15.
15, right. At the time that the Eagles are probably playing like the Giants or Washington, I think at that point is going to
Yeah, the
come
Eagles
in very
back into the
handy,
schedule
yeah.
very light.
Yes.
All right, let's go to the north. This one's interesting. Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears. They're all kind of, the Bears are 3 back of the Packers at this point, but
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
I have the Packers. I've had the Packers since the beginning of the year, since our first time, doing this segment. I'm sticking with them. The Vikings look better and better. Kirk Cousins is slinging it all over the yard, but I'm sticking with the Pack, man. They look like a very tough out.
Yeah, I'll admit, I've been Vikings all year long,
Yeah.
and I still have them now, but after watching Aaron Rodgers make that throw, it's not just the throw, it's like he's starting to find the comfort in that offense and play like an MVP again. His last 2 games, he's been brilliant.
Yes.
So I'm keeping Vikings, but even in a Vikings win, I may have to take them down if the Packers keep this up. Yeah.
I'm going with Vikings, and they've impressed me. And you know what it is? They're a plus 79. The Packers are a plus 52. I don't believe in the Packers' defense as I do the Vikings' defense. I think the Vikings' defense is very good. I think the Packers' defense is just okay. It's nothing special. And they both have great weapons. I mean, yes, they've got Rodgers. I like him better than I like Cousins. But Cousins' weapons, I think, are better. I love Cook. I love Thielen. I love Diggs. So with all that, I like the Vikings' defense a little bit more than I like the Packers' defense. So I'll go Minnesota over Green Bay in the north. Let's check out the south, where you got 7-1, 4-3, and then a couple of dogs. Anybody going against the Saints?
Not I, sir.
Not I.
You got Breeze back, by the way. They're only a plus 39. That's how close their games have been this year.
Yeah, but you got to be the only team that you started to kind of keep your eye on was the Panthers, and you have to be really
They
disappointed
got Rochambeau
with how badly they played in San Francisco. Yeah.
All right, which leads us to the west. You got San Fran 7-0, 6-2, 5-3. Arizona kind of hanging in there at 3-4-1. But San Fran, Seattle, Rams. I mean, much like the north, you get 3 different picks here.
Who you got?
I got San Francisco 7-0 plus 130.
All right.
Ooh.
That plus 130 is
That's
tough
a pretty
to ignore.
convincing number, isn't
Not
it?
to mention they are 4-0 on the road, which means they got a lot of home dates still to come. 207 points for. We talk about their offense not being that impressive, but 207, they are 3rd in the NFC in scoring.
That's pretty impressive. I've had Seattle all year long, and one reason I've been reluctant to go take the Niners is because, as I've told you guys, Richard Sherman said we're not allowed to jump on the bandwagon. Well, I've had my epiphany.
You're jumping on?
Screw Richard Sherman. I made a change. I'm putting and the Seahawks won this week in Atlanta, which is a whole, travel from West Coast. I know Atlanta stinks, but you got to battle the elements of all that. They won, but I'm putting the 49ers in there anyway. I'm sorry. They're just too impressive. They're my champion right now. Yeah.
I'm sticking with the Seahawks. 6-2.
God bless you, man. You
Russell
did it.
Wilson. Monday, November 11th. Seahawks, Niners. Niners beat Seattle. I will make the necessary adjustments. Until then, there's 2 games for them to go head and head. I think Seattle will take both, and that will be the difference.
All right.
By the way, San Fran plays Arizona Thursday night this week.
Yes, they do.
On 97.3 ESPN. All right, wild cards. This is interesting because you got Philly, you got Minnesota, Green Bay, whoever you didn't pick. You got Detroit at 500. You got the Bears, who made the playoffs last year. You got the Panthers, a game above. You've got Seattle, San Francisco, whoever you didn't pick. You got the Rams at 5-3. Arizona's kind of hanging around, so give me 2. Geoff Mosher.
Utah.
Well, I'm taking the Seahawks out of my NFC West, but I'm putting them in the wild card along with the Green Bay Packers, who I can't get them any low. I mean, I think that I probably may have them undervalued. So imagine how we put the Bills in there reluctantly, right? The Bills probably wouldn't be
I put Jacksonville.
Yeah, right?
That's right.
They got a guy with a porn stash.
Neither
playing
the Bills-
quarterback. They're making the
Strong
playoffs.
porn
The
stash.
Bills and the Jags would not be top 7 or 8 in the NFC? Because
No.
I don't have Dallas at all in my picture, and they're way better than the Bills or the Jags.
True. I have the Niners, MG squad, and the Vikings.
Niners and the Vikings.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so we all got the same team.
Right,
just
yeah, well,
kinda
he flipped his
different-
north, and we flipped our west. Because
Right.
I've got Seattle And Green Bay.
All right.
That's the way I see it. Yeah. Think about this. The Rams went to the Super Bowl last year. We all have them out. The Eagles were in the final final four of the NFC last year. We got them out.
I got the Eagles in, but yeah.
Reluctantly.
Yeah. Correct.
But it's been a crazy year. I mean, it's some surprise teams, and the NFC is absolutely, I think, wide open, right?
Is it not holding true this year that the whole, like, how many new playoff teams there would be? Because right now I'm looking at
Well, San Francisco didn't make it last year.
That's the only and Green Bay
didn't make it last year.
Right, so
Minnesota didn't make it last year.
That's right. I forgot they didn't. So that's 3.
So that would be 3. And in the AFC, did
the Bills? Well, Jacksonville or Bills would be.
Yeah, but I think Baltimore made it.
Yep.
I think Indianapolis made it, and I think Houston made it.
Yep.
And Kansas City definitely made it.
Kansas City made it, and the Patriots absolutely did make it. I can confirm that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That. They actually made the playoffs last year, those Patriots.
Yeah.
What they do right last year.
They squeaked by.
Sports Bash. That's our Who's In, Who's Out, and hope you enjoyed it. We will do it again next week. Tomorrow, we will have our NFL Fine 5, Ugly 5. 5 best and 5 worst teams in the league. We will rank them tomorrow as the Fine 5, the best, and the Ugly 5, the worst. That's tomorrow right here on the Sports Bash. Plus, Adam Kaplan is on tomorrow's show.